Yo, what up, Afro Tuck Nation? It's your boy T3 coming at you always in 3D. Yo, we dropping number 2 on my list of the villains. We're gonna hit that and we're gonna get that and we're gonna talk about it live right now. But before we handle that business, we're gonna handle the business. That is, subscribe so you can be a part of the greatest nation of all the land. Hit that like so we know how you feel about the content that's about to go down. And don't forget to hit that jingle jangle so you can be getting alert every time your boy drops a vid. With that in due, villains. All right, son. I know y'all been waiting a long time for this one. We about to hit the number 2 on the chart, number 2 and number 1. Now, I decided to break up number 2 and number 1 because each of these two villains need a piece on their own. They need a set to talk about on their own piece. They got a little long history, and so I'm gonna need the minutes to talk to you about each one of these guys. Number 2 on the charts, Darth Vader. Yes, Mr. himself is coming at you right now. Bro, how do we begin? How do we talk about this character? Well, we got to start with the origin story. Anakin Skywalker is the original name of Darth Vader, born on the planet Tatooine. But he was not born like any other person around this way. He was born with the midichlorians. What you are with the midichlorians? Yo, I can't even spit it out right. They're the little things that float in the air that makes the Force. This is how most Jedis and Force users are able to use the Force, who are sensitive to this particular energy and light. Well, this energy and light felt like there needed to be balance in the universe. It felt like that there was too much evil or dark side energy that's out there. So they decided to create their own champion in a kid, Anakin Skywalker, which means mom was Mary, Jesus style, and bam, he was born. No father, no physical form, or nothing of that nature. Well, with that, they decided to make this kid born on one of the most worst, gangsterous, hardcore planets in the world. Maybe they felt like they just need to, toughen you up as a young child so you could be ready for the hardcore stuff. But either way, Qui-Gon comes upon this kid, and he finds out that this kid has a very strong force energy running through his system. So he decides to take him on as his Padawan. Well, by doing so, he has taken on a kid who is very, very, very attached to his mother. Now, with the Jedi, they usually don't take you at a certain age. Why? Because that kind of attachment can ruin you, and they want to make sure that you are completely detached from all things before you join the Force. Well, Anakin Skywalker was attached to his mother, born on a desert planet, and they were both slaves. They were both slaves because they were sold into this. So he worked for this little crazy floating elephant-looking thing that looked like a giant snot bug, and then the moms was part of the Hutts. You know what I'm saying? So either way, Anakin came up. Awesome pilot. He could do all these things. As a kid that, he built R2D2. I'm sorry, C3PO. He built C3PO from scratch, bro. I'm just saying, the kid was super intelligent. But either way, he grows up. After a lot of tragedy went on, if you haven't watched any of the trilogies of Star Wars, I ain't got time to explain it all to you, but I will tell you that Qui-Gon died, which is how Obi-Wan Kenobi made a promise to his master that he would bring him on and make him his apprentice. Well, he did these things. But at a certain age, Anakin misses his mother, so he goes back. He goes back and finds out that the Sand People has killed his mother, and his mother dies in his arms. Well, one of the first tragedies that happened. Second tragedy, because the first one was removing him from his mother. Second tragedy was his mother being killed by the Sand People. In doing so, he slaughtered the entire village of Sand People, women and children. He had no mercy then. Yo, he runs up on Count Dooku. He's still in his little training. Oh, he loses that right arm. Oh, snap. Well, the second time he fights Count Dooku, he's saving the Emperor Palpatine. Ooh, Palpatine. We know that name. Stick to it. Listen carefully. Palpatine. But either way, he finds Count Dooku again, fights him again, but this time he cuts off both of Palpatine's hands. Well, in doing so, the Emperor Palpatine talks Anakin Skywalker into chopping off Count Dooku's head. Well, later on, Vader, Anakin Skywalker, is having nightmares because he got secretly married to Padme. And when he got secretly married, Jedis aren't supposed to have wives because there's that detachment thing again, but he's having visions of the future that she's going to die. Well, with this, the fear of death, which no Jedi can carry fear, with that fear of death, it made him desperate to try to find a way to protect those that he loved so he wouldn't lose her like he lost his mother. Well, in doing so, he ends up killing one of the head council and protecting Emperor Palpatine, becoming a Sith Lord. Well, if you watch the stories, Order 66 happens. He's a part of all of that. He slaughters all the other Jedi. Well, he thinks he slaughtered most of the Jedi. Padme still ends up dying by his own hand, and then she gives birth to his children. Well, during that time, Vader has just created a legacy of darkness across the universe because now he's running the evil empire. He now controls one of the biggest military forces there. Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader, is one of the most powerful Force users there ever was. He could do Force Crush, which means he can crush anything from a distance by the power of the dark side. He has telekinesis, which means he can move anything mentally out there. Yo, he has what is called Force Energy, which means that his Force Rage can build up to give him more speed, more power, more velocity in his fights. And then he has what is called Force Kill, which means he can rupture your organs from the inside just by looking at you and deciding to just crush everything inside you. Darth Vader is fearless. There's one line that's written in the comic books, one of the best lines that is out there. Darth Vader's on a planet. He's conquering this planet. He's taken over. All of his soldiers have been defeated except for him, and they have him surrounded. And they said, put down your lightsaber because you are defeated. And all Vader looks around and says, all I see and feel is fear and dead men. And he continues to slaughter the entire army and taking over this planet for Emperor Palpatine. Vader was fierce. He controlled his lightsaber almost like a boomerang. He can throw that joint across like a boomerang, cut whatever he needs up from a long distance, and bring it back to his hand. Vader had no fear in his heart finally, because why? His mother was dead. His wife had died. He had nothing else to live for. So he lived for the dark side. He lived to rule the galaxy because at that point, he just wanted the power to constantly take over everything. Vader is a non-stop beast, my friend. Watch Rogue One. Watch the final episode in Rogue One. This will give you a glimpse, just a taste, just a bit of why Vader was such a beast of a villain. Yes, Vader was not created to be a villain, but he became one through the moments of fear. And anytime something is created out of the moments of fear and destruction, they become the most cold-hearted, blooded people in America because then they have nothing else to live for. Vader. Yeah, that was a little awkward. All right, guys, that is it for round 2. We got round 1 next Sunday. Jump in behind your boy. See what we getting into. Find out how we rolling out. We've already talked about today's villain. We got the last villain coming up. And then stay tuned because Demon Slayer will be the next topic coming up real quick. But until then, jingle jangle, baby. Jingle jangle.